All right, here we are. It's a brand new week, which means a brand new episode of Marauder Morning, and it means I've got my two favorite guys with me, Mark and Ryan, here to talk about a little sports this week. Guys, how are you doing?
Not bad.
Doing well. Two favorite guys, eh?
Yeah. Now that you're on the show, definitely my two favorite guys. And
Love
we're
that.
gonna talk about some good stuff today. We're gonna try to cook through because we got a great draft of the week this week. So we're gonna try to save a bunch of time for that. So let's not waste any more time. My name's Duncan, as I always forget, but that's not important. Let's move right on because our first thing on this week is the MLB. And we're going to go through this really quick. We're not going to get too far inside baseball, as the saying goes. But we're talking about three guys, and I've got their, I'm going to call them mug shots down at the bottom of the screen. We're talking about Joey Cora, AJ Hinch, and Justin Turner. And what do those three guys have in common besides being part of an MLB franchise is that they shouldn't be part of an MLB franchise because they are cheaters or rule breakers. I guess our first two guys are cheaters. Justin Turner would be more of a rule breaker. Just to go through this really, really quick, we don't want to get too lost into it. Joey Cora was the manager of the Red Sox. AJ Hinch, the manager of the Astros. And both those guys were fired for instances of sign stealing that brought them all the way to a World Series, which they both won by cheating. And Justin Turner was, of course, the guy we talked about a couple weeks ago as being the guy who was still on the field after the game, the World Series game, despite testing positive for COVID. So I guess what we're going to talk about here is the taste it kind of leaves in our mouth. I have a feeling we're all going to kind of agree on this, but just as a sports fan, how do you guys feel? I know we're not baseball fans, really, any of us, to a large extent. But if this was happening in pick a sport, how would you guys feel? Mark, I'll start with you.
Yeah. I think of instances like Lance Armstrong,
Yeah.
like famous for cheating and using PEDs for the Tour de France, and it's kind of sad that he's still like famous and still is like finding success off like his fame from those tours. So I don't know. I guess in this instance, it's kind of weird because lots of things that I've read say that a year suspension's like a huge thing in baseball and that they've like they've served enough time, but yeah, it just leaves I don't like it. Obviously cheating in any sport is just terrible. I don't think you should be back in such a high position if you've had a history of just cheating and not playing fair.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't mention why we're talking about these three guys. Joey Cora, the guy I mentioned, is back in his job as Red Sox manager just a year later. AJ Hinch, back in the same position with a new team, the Detroit Tigers. And Justin Turner, nothing has happened to him penalty-wise. So I guess I should have just said that. But that's a good kind of question you bring up, Mark, is have they served their time, so to say? Justin Turner's kind of outside of this example, but AJ Hinch, Joey Cora missed a year of baseball. Do you think they served their time, Ryan?
I don't think they served enough time for myself. I don't know, like a year off from what you did, and then to be signed back to a team and be able to basically do the exact same thing if you really wanted to. I don't think it's justified. I think maybe like 2-3 years. I think maybe that would be better. But yeah, just it basically seems like a slap on the wrist.
Absolutely.
Like from me as a fan. So.
Yeah, no, and I would agree. It does feel very short, especially because they missed a year. That was the weird COVID year. It was a shortened year.
Yep.
So I'm not really sure, if these guys are going to get the message. Justin Turner, nothing happened to him. Nobody seems to care. And then these other guys, people are just going to forget and move on. So I think it comes down, again, we've talked about the Joker, Rob Manfred, commissioner of the MLB before. If you want something to happen, you got to do something, Rob. So I don't know. Get on it is what we're saying. There's not too much to say with this one. We all agree that these guys are bad for the sport. And it just delegitimizes things, especially because all these guys walked away with the championship, so the spotlight's on them. It's not like some random team that did nothing cheated. It's guys stealing championships. So I think I speak for all of us when I say that is not a good thing.
Just like another like add-on. I know it doesn't. There's no sign stealing or anything, but I was reading today a guy named Tony La Russa.
Yeah.
So he just got hired by the Chicago White Sox, and a day before he was hired, he was charged with a DUI. He was like 0.20% over like the legal limit.
Oh man.
And so the cop came up to him and was like, "Oh, like I know you are, like you're driving under the influence." And the guy says, "I'm a Hall of Famer. It doesn't matter."
Awesome.
So he just thinks he's like above everyone else.
Well, it just
And
shows,
still,
right? Like
he's still hired. Like,
yeah.
Chicago knew about like the DUI and they still hired him.
It just goes to show when you let things slip like this, it becomes the culture. It becomes, and the headline I came up with for this that you'll see at the bottom of your screen if you're watching us on YouTube is cheating is the system. And that's how I feel is if you want to win in baseball, just go ahead and cheat. Why wouldn't you at this point, right? Like, you might as well. So, I don't know. That's kind of all I wanted to hit on for this. Is there anything else you guys want to add as far as this topic goes?
Nope.
No,
I think it's interesting, just like looking at the suspensions that have been issued for like PED use or like fighting or any other like bad behavior, I guess. Like,
sure.
No other player or member of the league has been suspended for a year. So I guess that kind of shows how extreme they dealt with it, but it also shows how like little the league actually cares about like making a point about like bad behavior and
for sure,
just like cheating.
No, it is a good
they care
point.
enough about it.
It is a good point. It is a huge suspension. Like, it definitely is unprecedented for baseball. But yeah, I don't think that's good enough. Giving, you can't contextualize it with every other suspension. You've got to go, how bad is this for the sport? And you've got to realize that this is awful for the sport and that these guys probably shouldn't come back. So there we go. Cheaters. And fire Rob Manfred. As we said before, we'll start the chant again. Fire Rob Manfred. There you go. That's our MLB topic, probably for the month. And probably for the rest of the year, to be honest, because baseball's over and we're moving on. And as far as right now goes, we're going to move on to something Mark loves, and I know Ryan loves also. This is the NBA, and we're talking about the off season. This season is over, so we're moving in to kind of a thrown together off season. A lot of the dates are coming out on the fly. But we do know that NBA free agency is coming up. We will hit on the draft probably after it happens. I'm going to speak for myself and say I'm not a draft analyst. I don't know many of these guys well, so maybe we'll just talk about that after the draft happens. But we're going to kind of do a little crystal ball looking as far as NBA free agents go. And a couple guys I wanted to focus on, just to kind of direct this discussion. We're going to start with a local favorite, a local hero, you could say. One Mr. Fred VanVleet, a guard for your Toronto Raptors in your hearts and minds around this area. Fred VanVleet had an interesting quote this week that Raptors fans will not be so excited to hear. Quote from Fred VanVleet, "I'm trying to get paid, man. I'm not shy about that. I won a championship, and now it's time to cash out." That comes courtesy of the Old Man and the Three podcast, which is JJ Redick's podcast. A great show that I recommend you checking out. But let's focus on the quote. We're all living in or are from the Toronto area. How does that hit your heart? Ryan, I'll start with you.
I think Freddie is the most well-deserving guy of anything near a max contract, a starting position, and a huge upgrade in a role. Just watching him on the Raptors, it just seemed like he was kind of like stuck in the shadow of Kyle Lowry. And there was so many games where I wanted Freddie to just like take over, throw the ball to Freddie. He popped off a couple of games where they did do that. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does leave the Raptors and if he does get into a starting role, because I think he deserves it. So.
Yeah, Mark, and what do you think about this?
Yeah, the guy, he definitely earned his respect in the league. One, like he was undrafted, went
For
to
sure.
Wichita State, like helped the Raptors, played a huge role in that team winning a championship. So I agree, the guy needs to get paid. I mean, if the Raptors don't want to do it, they're going to lose a great player, and then he's going to end up going to like the Knicks and never see the playoffs ever again. So just
Yeah,
you guys should pay him.
Fred VanVleet is an interesting one to me. I personally don't think he's worth a max contract. I get
Not a
really
max.
nervous. But I think someone's gonna give it to him, which makes me nervous. I think he falls into the category of like Tobias Harris from a couple years ago, who signed with the Sixers for a max contract, and I don't think anyone thought he was worth a max contract, but just because of the amount of offers he was getting, he ended up getting that. So I'm kind of worried about that for Fred VanVleet, is that a team's going to end up overpaying him as a superstar, and we don't know what he looks like outside of Nick Nurse's system without Kyle Lowry by his side. Kyle Lowry gives you a lot of that veteran leadership, and who knows how much he's given to Fred VanVleet, and whether he'll be able to take that to a new team. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really see him as that lead guard. I don't see him as a Kyrie or a Russell Westbrook. He's certainly not in those guys' tier athletically. Do you guys see him as a premier player in this league, Mark?
I definitely see him as a starting point guard for sure. I mean, he started a bunch for the Raptors anyways, but yeah, in terms of like top tier, like top 10 point guards in the league, I wouldn't say so, but like he definitely deserves to get paid and deserves a spot on a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a starter. But my questions just kind of come with the amount of money he's going to get. Ryan, what do you think?
I definitely don't think he's on the same level as like Kyrie or Damian Lillard or like those guys, but I definitely think he's proven to be a starter. I think that's correct. But I think in the right situation, like I think if he goes to where I want him to go, in the Phoenix Suns, I think he fits perfect there. Like I think like he'd be more than happy to get the ball to Booker or to Ayton or to anybody else, and then like do his own thing. And Detroit, I mean, Detroit's a pretty good position for him. I think he's from there. I don't know. But I don't know. Yeah, like given the right like situation, I think he'd excel. So
yeah, I think that's one thing about Fred. He's like just accepts his role and is willing to sacrifice anything for the better of the team. So I think that's a good thing about him.
Well, I don't know. Is he willing to accept that? Because from this quote, he
wants to get paid.
I'm not shy about that. Another part of the quote, I kind of cut out part of it. He says, "Obviously, I want to win, but I'm trying to get paid." Is basically the gist of that quote. So I don't know. Maybe he's done with all that. Maybe he wants to move on.
Maybe you're right.
But I'm really excited to see what he is away from Kyle Lowry. I think that's something to look out for next year, wherever he is. And I think he will be gone. I don't think the Raptors are going to be able to pay him what he wants.
I think so.
Let's talk about.
They didn't pay Siakam.
Yeah, he's from Illinois, by the way.
Okay,
not from Detroit.
Right, in the area, close enough. Let's Ryan, you brought up the Suns maybe in the point guard market. I heard the rumor floated around the other day. Just maybe really quick, I want to get your Suns fan impression of Chris Paul to the Suns. How do you like that idea?
Huge.
I like it because he's only on a 1-year contract, and I still think Chris Paul is one of the best point guards in the league.
For sure.
But from like a future standpoint, like trying to like rebuild for the future and like have this guy for like another 10 years. If we had him for 10 years, he'd be in a rocker. So I mean, I like it for now. I like it for like seeing the potential of what Chris Paul, Devin Booker could do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't give up the entire team just to get him. Kind of thing.
To me, this kind of smells of, oh my God, do something or Devin Booker's gonna leave us.
Yeah,
do
that's what it
something
seems
now.
like.
Because right now, we've got the D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns mini super team bubbling up, and Devin Booker really sounds like he wants to go be a part of that. So I agree. It doesn't work as a long-term move, and I'm not sure it makes them a championship team. But if you're just trying to keep Devin Booker around to sell tickets, which is fine by me, if a team wants to do that, I like it. I think it'd be a heck of a lot of fun, if nothing else. And let's transition into kind of a tough one. If you're the Houston Rockets, Chris Paul's old team, now dealing with some trouble with his replacement, Russell Westbrook, who they swapped for Chris Paul, wants out of Houston just after 1 year. This comes courtesy of Shams Charania, the guy we get all of our NBA news from. This one to me seemed obvious. I mean, did anyone think the Westbrook Harden thing was going to work? Just as a side note, James Harden says he's committed to the team, but it's James Harden. He's a diva, and that could change at any moment. And I feel like if Westbrook is out of town, he's gone too. What do you guys think? Give me your thoughts of the Westbrook Harden experiment, and what do you think his next chapter looks like, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely skeptical when the two joined together. I mean, like Westbrook, it's known that he's not the easiest person to play with.
Yeah.
And just looking at how the Rockets play, like that system in itself is just very restricting to a lot of players. Like only shooting threes or shooting layups. Like that's like Russell does not shoot threes, and like he showed that in the playoffs. And so, yeah, you kind of expected this. I mean, was it never going to work? I don't think so.
No. And Ryan, I'll ask you. What do you think of the Harden Westbrook experiment? How did it go?
I think it went exactly as everyone thought it was going to go. I mean, like as good of friends as you are, if the system around you doesn't fit your playing style, then there's no way you can succeed. Westbrook's just not meant to shoot threes. He's going to drive the lane. He's going to dunk over the entire team, and the system didn't give him enough chances to do that. It's just the start of like the Rockets simply just like blowing up. So
yeah, no, and I would agree. I'm just looking down at my phone right now because I'm trying to look up what exactly the trade was for Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook. But man, the OKC Thunder are walking out of here laughing. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came over in the Clippers trade. Anyway, they're laughing because they dumped off Chris Paul or Paul George and Russell Westbrook and ended up with a whole bunch of young guys and draft picks. And so they'll be able to do whatever the heck they want this offseason. Trade away Chris Paul, pick up some more picks, maybe some younger guys, and move
I like
on.
OKC. OKC is really nice.
Yeah, I like what they're doing too. I think they transitioned out of the Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook era just about as gracefully as you can with those two guys. So I give them huge props for that. What do you guys see Russell Westbrook as in the future? He's 30 plus at this point of his career. The athleticism is on the downturn. Do you guys see him as a lead superstar, maybe as the 1B or the 1A to someone who's already an established superstar with the team? What do you see him as going forward? Mark, go for it.
Yeah, I think he peaked, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's shown he doesn't have success in the playoffs. He's shown he can still put up numbers, he was putting up numbers last season, but his play style just doesn't win in this day and age in basketball.
Yeah.
So I think any team can get him, and they'll probably make the playoffs, but you're not going to go anywhere past the first or second round. You're not winning a championship with him as your lead player.
Yeah. No, I think that I'm not sure that was ever true with Russell Westbrook. Just the way he plays, and I don't think it's true now. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
It kind of makes you think that maybe it's time for him to change his playing style. We talked about that before with players getting older and having to change the playing style, maybe going from athletic to more of a shooter. Maybe instead of athletic to shooter, maybe you can go athletic to passer. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's not one of the best passing point guards. in the game, because he proved that he's more than just a driving to the lane guy when everyone was saying that, and then he averaged a triple double. But I don't know. He's got to figure it out and become more of a team guy and do everything that the team needs him to do, not just what his personal stats need him to do.
Yeah.
If he wants to take that next level and be a champion. So.
Yeah, I'd agree. His game has not aged well. And yeah, I don't know what he becomes. Like you said, he's a good distributor. But I think that temptation's always going to be there for him to drive to the hoop. I see him kind of as maybe he ends up on a team like Orlando or something like that just wants to sell some tickets, or maybe is delusional about how good they are.
It'd be so sad.
Yeah, I know. I think we're at the point where Russell Westbrook is washed, which is hard to say, hard to hear, because I know we all grew up watching him. But such is life, and yeah, but all the best to Russell Westbrook.
I don't know about you guys, but I see a trend in sports where teams trade away their best players and then end up being better.
Yeah, Bryce Harper comes to mind. Russell Westbrook, of course.
Jeff Skinner in hockey, he was the best on the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, and
they instantly just became better. So
yeah, the only sport I can't think of that being true is football. But football's kind of the outlier as far as roster size goes. But yeah, it is an interesting trend. I don't know. What do you think of that? What do you make of that?
Wait, Joe Flacco was on the Ravens, correct?
That's right.
Would you say they're better now with
Yes, but Joe Flacco was never their best player. He was never even close. I'd say he was on a downswing for the last couple of years. So that made sense to me. It was early for sure, and Joe Flacco still had years left, but at that point he wasn't the best player on their team. So not quite.
I had no idea he was on the Jets right now. I was watching the Patriots game. I'm like, yo, that's Joe Flacco.
He's still out there, man. He's still kicking around. Good for Joe. Yeah, but that's a really great point, Ryan. You bring up. Do you guys make anything of that? I don't have anything I can point to. Maybe just overinflated salaries. You can get more guys. That's kind of the obvious answer to me.
I think for me, it's knowing when to make the transition from like trying to build for a championship and trying to build for the future.
For sure.
And I think general managers are either getting lucky or they've learned more about like when to do it. And you just see teams with like these quick rebuilds, trading away your best player, and then 2 or 3 years later you're back in the running. So
yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe we'll kind of think about that for next week and look it up. But I like that idea. Yeah, it is something definitely that's come up, and maybe we'll be talking about that in the future. But for right now, we're gonna move into I don't know, they're all my favorite segments, but this is one of the greats. It is Mark's Premier League Report, coming to you live from wherever Mark is. Also, it's not live, but we're going to talk about the Premier League. Mark does this weekly. He tells us what's going on in soccer in just a few minutes. So if you don't want to sort through all that information, Mark's going to do it for you right now. Mark, what do we have this week?
Okay, so we got a big matchup. It was looking like a big matchup. It was Man City versus Liverpool. 2 top-of-the-table teams. It ended in a draw, 1-1. Kevin De Bruyne, do you guys know him?
No.
Okay. One of the best players in the world, midfielder for Man City. So he had a chance. He had any chance to that goal. It was very frustrating to watch the game. It was a rainy game. He had like 4 shots that just barely missed the post. And both the goals in the game were penalty kicks. So very boring game. So let's move on.
All right.
We got Everton versus Man U.
All right.
Everton versus Man United. Another big matchup. Everton has had a really good season so far. And Man U, on the other hand, has been very disappointing. But Man U showed how good they could be. Their star midfielder, Bruno Fernandes, played really well. He had a hand in all 3 of the goals for Man U.
Oh, yeah.
So big ups to Man United. They're showing some
maybe the start of a little bit of a comeback for Man U.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
And then my squad, Chelsea.
Yeah.
They faced Sheffield United. So
hold on.
Easy
Are you
matchup.
wearing an AC Milan jersey right now?
This is a Juventus jersey, but
okay.
It's just for fashion, for fashion. Chelsea faced Sheffield United. Sheffield sucks. Chelsea beat them 4-1. But a big thing from that game was, do you guys remember when I talked about Hakeem Ziyech last week? It was like honestly, one of the big signings for Chelsea. Yeah, probably not. Anyways, star winger from he's Moroccan, star winger, left-footed. He's a magician. He's looking really good for Chelsea. His playmaking is wild. He had 2 assists this game, and 4 different people scored for Chelsea this game, which is a very good thing.
Spreading around Chelsea.
Yeah, sharing is caring. Unfortunately, no Heung-min Son news this week.
No,
he had a quiet week. No,
that's okay. He played.
So that's all.
Yeah. All right.
The week.
There you go. That's Mark's Premier League report. I don't know. I don't really have any questions for you. That was solid. Relaying all the information as always, and I guess we'll just leave it at that. So thank you to Mark. Yeah.
No new soccer balls or
no new soccer balls. No,
no new soccer balls for that this week.
No glow in the dark soccer balls this
weird.
week. No.
What about glow in the dark shoes? Are they adding those? Funny hats?
No.
They should give funny hats. They could do that in soccer. Soccer and baseball. Everyone should wear funny hats. I'd watch.
The goalies that wear like the padded helmets.
Oh yeah, need more of those.
I always thought those are dumb. They're just so dumb.
The rugby helmet. That does nothing.
It just looks stupid.
All right, that's Mark's Premier League report. Let's go on to our next topic. This one comes courtesy of our man Ryan. He's going to tell us all about the 2020 Masters, which, as we're sitting here recording, is just kind of getting underway. They were delayed this morning due to inclement weather, as the report says. But we're cooking at the Masters. We can't tell you too much because it's happening right now. But Ryan, what do you got as far as the Masters go?
Yeah, 2020 Masters, the Augusta National Golf Course. Beautiful course. If you've never seen it, look it up. The Augusta has a big range of par 3, par 4, par 5 courses. And so I think the smallest course is 155 yards. Oh, wow. And the longest is 575.
Oh, wow.
And so just to give you like a little bit of a range. There's a lot going on. So one of the big headlines that I've seen this week is Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus are constantly being compared throughout their careers. Yeah. And going into this tournament, much like Jack Nicklaus was, Tiger is ranked 33rd in the world for golf. He's looking for his 6th Masters. And if he wins, it would be 23 years after he won his first one.
Holy
and
crap.
That was the same situation that Jack Nicklaus was in when he did it.
No kidding.
So it's pretty cool. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it's going to be done because I don't think Tiger is going to win it. But
sure.
I mean, people said that, and I said that last year, and now he's defending it. So so that's one of the big headlines. Another one, I was kind of excited to go watch it after our little podcast, but it got postponed until tomorrow due to rain.
Okay. They're moving it to tomorrow.
Yeah, if you've seen any of the news, the first golfers got the tee off, and then they suspended it just because of how much it is.
Right.
And then so DeChambeau is a big topic going into this week because
coming off the win,
a guy who can.
Coming off the win at what was the championship he just won? We talked about it on the show, didn't we?
Think so.
Is this the huge guy?
This is Bryson DeChambeau, who's every time we talk about golf comes up.
Yeah, he's the new big face, man.
Yeah, he is. Don't get too worried about what he just won. But anyway, he's coming off a win. What do you think about him coming into today? Is he the favorite? Uh-oh.
Yeah, so he's the favorite at 8-1. You're looking at a man that can drive 400 yards and like for a hole that's 575 yards, he can get there in two, and even if he three putts, he's going to be fine. But a guy of his caliber is not going to three putt. So just because of how far he can hit the ball, he's looking to be the favorite. For the smallest one at 155 yards, a guy like me, I'd be using my like 8 or 9 iron.
For sure. That's like pitch and putt
usually
distance.
hit that. Like, yeah. You usually use like your wedges, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see DeChambeau using like his putter or something, just because of how hard he can hit the ball. And then you got Dustin Johnson at 9-1.
Yep.
And John Rahm at 10-1.
John Rahm hit a shot across the water in practice.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, just to kind of interject. Sorry, Ryan, but you have to go
on
find
his
this
birthday
video.
too.
Yeah, on his birthday. That's right. You have to go find this video if you guys haven't watched it. But he skipped it across the water, which I didn't know was legal or possible or whatever. But is that going to translate? Who is John Rahm, and what was that?
So John Rahm is actually, I think, second or third in the standings.
Yeah.
Him and Dustin Johnson this year have been so consistent in the top three. And I wouldn't be surprised, like the DeChambeau, Johnson, and Rahm. Like I think those are the three to really look out for. I think it's their turn to lose. They're the next big faces in golf. Like John Rahm has had such a consistent year.
Yeah.
And Dustin Johnson, he recently had to what's the word? He had to self-isolate just because he had COVID, and he went to a tournament and almost won it after being off for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I mean, these guys, they're professionals and they know what they're doing. So.
Yeah. I mean, golf is such a muscle memory game, and all these guys have played all these courses before, or most of them, have been to the Masters before. Guys like Dustin Johnson has been the number one golfer for, as many weeks as I can remember going back. So yeah, I don't see that as much as a problem. But then on the other side, we had a positive COVID test this week. Someone's missing out on the Masters. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Mr. Garcia. I would hate to be fine all year and work so hard for the illustrious green jacket and not be able to compete for it. So it sucks for him, but I don't know if it was maybe out of his control or if he wasn't taking the right precautions. But just like looking up like interviews and stuff, because I know Monday to Wednesday they were doing like pre-round interviews, and Colin Morikawa, my sleeper actually, Mark's twin, he was saying that a lot of the courses were taking protocols a lot differently. Like he was saying that he went to a tournament and they were like really lackadaisical. They were just like, oh, okay, do whatever, like you can go out for dinner, whatever, we don't care. And then he went to the next tournament and they were like, okay, here's your schedule, here's when you're going to go out, here's when you're going to be like sanitizing your hands, everything. So I don't know if it was in Garcia's control or if he was taking the right precautions and it just happened. So
that's a good point. The NBA, for example, can control every single one of its competitions, right? And it can kind of, to a certain degree, control their players. Maybe a better example is the NFL, who's not doing a bubble. They can kind of, set the protocols for everyone, and that's the law, and you go. Golf, it's a whole bunch of different tournaments run by a whole bunch of different people. These guys are all basically freelancers. So yeah, it's a great point. Like, no one's holding each of these tournaments to a certain standard. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing to follow. But golf has been surprisingly good this year with COVID, as far as I know.
And my last little point, just going off of that.
Sure.
Like a lot of the tournaments they've had this year, it's just like a new look because you're used to golf having like a couple fans, and you're used to like as soon as someone takes their tee shot, they all kind of like crowd the hole, and you're not seeing that this year. So another big thing in the tournaments that I was looking at is the Masters are going to be a lot different just because they're allowed to have so many fans, and now there's going to be no fans. So a lot of the greens are going to look a lot bigger for the players, and it's going to be a lot quieter, a lot less pressure.
Yeah. Oops.
I didn't think like fans would affect golf.
I
lost you guys just for a sec.
You want me to repeat or?
No, I think I got all of you saying. There's a. Oh, wait, hold that up again. I got all of your thing, Ryan. Don't worry.
Okay. Sweet.
But there's a mark next to Colin Morikawa. I don't know. Ryan pointed it out that they're twins. Pretty close.
I agree.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty close.
Wait,
actually.
yeah, and Mark, you're 23, right?
2.
You're 22. He's 23. So
there you go. Maybe actual twins.
Yeah.
Dang, I gotta meet this guy.
Yeah. He's
Spider-Man meme. We're just gonna look at each other.
Yeah. Honestly. So.
All right. Is that all you got for the Masters?
Yep. My sleeper is Colin Morikawa. I didn't want to get into him too much, but yeah, he won the Harding Park PGA Championship, and he's only 23. So if he won, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. There you go. That's a talk about the 2020 Masters. Maybe we'll have a little bit more on it next week once they've actually played the thing. But there you go. We're moving in to our great big segment this week. We're going to take a long time with this one because it's a good one. And I even got music this week for this. I know, music for everything. It's the draft of the week. And this week we're talking about the best sports movies of all time. Man, I'm excited for this one. I don't know about you guys, but I came up with a whole bunch of picks. We're going to do 5 rounds today. Yeah, it's going to be good. This is a good one. Stick around, fans. Stick around. Did we come up with a draft order already? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We made sure to come up with one this week ahead of time. It's going to go Ryan, Mark, and then myself rounding it out. Man, let's not waste any more time. I'm jazzed up. Ryan, give us your first pick. What's the best sports movie of all time?
So I'm going to let you guys take one of my other favorite movies, but my favorite sports movie of all time is The Blind Side.
Whoa.
Big Mike,
Okay.
Michael Orr.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an amazing story of a guy that goes from a really challenging situation to a family that takes a chance on him, provides him with everything that someone of his talent should be given, and he ends up being drafted and ends up in a good spot. So, a really good movie.
Yeah, the true life story of one Michael Orr, former left tackle for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Where is he now?
He's retired. He was last with the Panthers in 2017, maybe something like that. But yeah, he's out of the league now. He had a good long career though.
Yeah, he won a couple championships, didn't he?
He won one Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Yep.
But man, he was a good, solid player for them for a long time.
He's only 34. So.
Yeah, but I think he's done with his NFL career. But Sandra Bullock, great performance.
Great
Sandy
movie.
B really tugs at
The
your
car
heartstrings.
scene, the accident.
Oh,
Yeah.
the car accident with the little kid.
Protective instincts.
Protective instincts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, there's lots of great little heartwarming.
I could watch that movie anytime, any day.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, just a little side note. I don't know if you guys know this, but the high school coach in the movie, Hugh Freeze, is the guy who actually went on to coach at Ole Miss, and he was the guy who was fired for calling a hooker hotline on his work phone.
Oh, wow.
My guy.
It's something I always
He
love
was
to
a
tell
coach
people.
at like a Christian school.
Yeah, he was
like a private
at the Christian school, and he went on to coach at Ole Miss and got
Come on,
fired.
man.
They used a lot of like college, like actual.
Oh yeah, Nick
coaches
Saban's in that movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
Got a bunch of coaches.
Yeah, I thought it was
what's
pretty
his
cool.
name? Ed Orgeron, who just won the national championships in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou Holtz, man. They got real coaches. It's
that's pretty cool.
good stuff. All right, we can talk about the Blind Side for the rest of the episode, but we got to do a second pick. Mark, give us your favorite movie.
I'm gonna go with Glory Road. Have you guys watched it?
Yeah, I watched it
Is that
twice.
the Sam Jackson one? No, that's
No.
Coach
So
Carter.
this is
All right.
Yeah, so this is inspired by a true story of the Texas Western men's basketball team. In 1966. They were the national champions that year, and it's about a team it's about a coach. His name's Don Haskins, and he coached and recruited a team with an all-black starting lineup, which was the first time in NCAA history.
Wow.
And they actually finished the season 23-1 and went on to beat Kentucky in the national championship game, which was a huge thing. I mean, it's University of Texas El Paso. Like, you don't know that school. It's a very unknown school. So, yeah, great movie. Huge part of my childhood. The basketball in that movie is really good. The acting is really good. And I think it's just a lot of good lessons you can learn from that movie as well. So
everyone was hating on him because he went from coaching like a girls team and taking them really far, and then nobody thought he could do it in like a men's championship team, but he did it. I love that movie.
Well, man, you guys put me in a tough spot because I didn't even have this one down on my list. But I gotta go. Remember the Titans. You guys promised it was gonna be gone before I got to my pick when we talked about this. But I mean, what do I have to say? Denzel Washington, check. Maybe I should just leave it at left side.
Strong side.
Strong side. Yeah, come on. All-time great. Remember
Big
the
movie.
Titans, guys.
Can't you tell he's my brother?
Big movie.
Great movie.
Oh, I mean, yeah. All right, end of conversation. Remember the Titans. Come on, guys. Let's get with it. Ryan, your second pick. Let's go.
So my second pick is Moneyball. I slept on Moneyball for the longest time because I just didn't think it was going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
But just like how much I've gotten into like the stats and like the deeper stuff about sports after watching that movie, it's just like, it's so cool to think that like you don't need a star or like you don't need a massive budget to win. You just need like the proper guys playing the proper positions, doing the proper things in order to get to the playoffs. And that movie, I think it's a great movie. So if you guys seen it.
Absolutely. Moneyball I've seen so many times.
Movie.
It's a great inside sports movie. It's a great movie.
And he's still with the Oakland Athletics.
Billy Bean. He's still general managing the Oakland A's. I mean Brad Pitt. I mean, come on, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill's in it.
Hill, yeah.
Chris Pratt, young Chris Pratt, played the first baseman, whatever his name was. It's a great movie. If you don't like baseball, which I don't love baseball, it's a great kind of look inside the sport, and kind of a cool story about someone who did something different. Mark, give us pick number 2.
I'm gonna go with Rudy. I'm gonna go with Rudy.
Yes.
Another movie from my childhood. About this, just these underdog stories just get my heart every time.
Absolutely.
Didn't have the money or the grades to qualify for a scholarship at the University of Notre Dame, but really wanted to play football. Ends off with him getting admission to Notre Dame and plays football for the team. So it was just a really great movie.
Yeah, another true story.
I'm sure most people have watched it. Yeah.
All of these have been true stories so far that we've picked because those are just the best sports movies. But Rudy, the story of Rudy Rudinger, player for Notre Dame, like you mentioned, starring the guy who played Samwise Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings movies. He plays Rudy.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, just another movie you can just sit down and cry over and feel okay about it. If you haven't seen Rudy, you got to go see it. It's another one of those you don't have to be the fan of the sport to watch. You can just go and love it. Great pick. I was going to be mad if you left Rudy. If I was going to have to pick Remember the Titans and Rudy at the bottom of both rounds, I mean, come on.
I let you get Remember the Titans.
All right. Yeah, you did. All right, let's man. I mean, there's about 1,000 different directions you could go here, but I got to pick Rocky. I can't go out of round 2 without picking Rocky. And we'll just assume this means the whole franchise. We don't have to pick Rocky 1, 2, and 3. My favorite is Rocky 3, Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T. I love it. He kills a man by punching him in the face so hard. The Rocky movies, written and starring Sylvester Stallone, Carl Weathers. I mean, it's just an all-time classic, and it's barely a sports movie at this point. It's just an iconic piece of American history. So my pick is Rocky. Moving on, Ryan.
So my third pick is going to be hockey movie, Miracle.
Yes.
Miracle.
Yes. Another movie that I slept on for a while, and
Really?
as a hockey fan, I don't know why I slept on it for so long, but I watched it I think last year. Herb Brooks, head coach of the U.S. team, just proves how important coaches are to teams. He takes down the Soviets and proves that like you can't get too stuck on one player. If your star player is down, you got to get the next guy going. Yeah. And just a big perseverance movie, and it's great. I love it. So.
I can't believe you slept on this movie.
I know.
This
I
is
can't
the
believe you
hockey movie. Like this and
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks. Yeah, that's what I didn't want to
Mighty
spoil
Ducks.
it in case anyone's gonna pick it.
Yeah,
but
right. Sure.
yeah, Mighty Ducks is this and Mighty Ducks are the hockey movies. It's Kurt Russell. Is it Kurt Russell who plays the guy, or is it? I don't know. But whoever plays the coach,
Kurt Russell.
Plays the coach. Just a great. I mean, these are all like great, heartwarming. That's what a great sports movie is, you know. Yeah, like you said, the story of underdogs beating the Soviet Union without professional players. Just another one you have to watch. You know, the hockey movie. All right, Mark.
Very good.
Round number 3. What's your pick?
Round number 3. I'm gonna go with Southpaw.
Southpaw. Whoa.
Boxing movie.
Good movie.
That movie, I don't cry a lot. That movie almost made me cry. Like the storyline. So if people don't know, it's about a boxer who had success and then lost his wife in a shooting, and then proceeded to lose his daughter to Child Protective Services. And so he was just in a really bad place, and he just worked his way up. Just inspiring. The boxing was really good. I wanted to get into boxing after watching the training, and just the music, the soundtrack in that movie just gets you hype. So yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah, this is one I haven't seen. Ryan, have you seen this one?
Wow.
I have. It's a really good movie.
Okay,
I think it's Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's the star.
Okay, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
He beefed up too. He was
big. All
in
these
that
guys
movie.
for these boxing movies. Michael B. Jordan a couple years ago got nice and big for Creed. Yeah, it's a good excuse to get ripped is get cast in a boxing movie.
Yeah.
Southpaw's fire.
All right, I'll add that to my list. Round 3. I'm gonna go. Ooh, gosh, I'm gonna go with The Sandlot. One of my all-time favorites. I think this is our first comedy on the list. This is our first one that's also not a true story. I don't think. But the story of what sports is all about. You know, little kids playing in the backyard, playing in the sandlot. Another baseball movie, but another one you don't have to be a fan of baseball for. Not the traditional true story heartwarming, but still nice and heartwarming. I'm assuming you guys have seen The Sandlot.
Yeah.
I low-key haven't. I've heard so much
You're killing
about
me,
it.
Smalls. I had to throw that in.
I've heard so much about it.
He's drowning. He's drowning.
I'll go watch Southpaw. Mark, you gotta watch The Sandlot. That's your homework for this week.
Yeah.
Is this the movie with the dog?
Yes.
There's like a big dog scene? Okay.
Yeah, there's a big dog. I won't spoil it for you. Great movie, The Sandlot. I own it on DVD. All right, let's go round 4. We're into it. Round 4, Ryan.
All right, round 4. I can't have the Masters going on. I can't have my golf clubs right here without talking about a golf movie. So the greatest game ever played, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. I thought you were
my
somewhere
boy.
else.
Yeah, no. It's a great movie. It's about a young kid just being so involved in the game. He works at a golf course. He's around a bunch of stars. At a young age, he showed that he has a lot of potential in the game. Stuff goes on. And then he's invited to a pretty big tournament when he's 20, and he ends up being a U.S. Open championship or a champion. And if you actually follow Francis Ouimet, I think that's how you pronounce it, but he went on to a pretty great career. So, really good movie.
That's another one I haven't seen. There you go. Greatest game ever played, starring Shia LaBeouf before he went crazy.
Yeah.
So there you go. Round 2. Mark, give it to us.
I'm gonna go with Cool Runnings.
Cool
Runnings,
Runnings, a
another
bobsled
movie from my
monkey.
childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not.
Funny
seen that.
movie, hilarious movie. It's like loosely based on the true story of the Jamaican national bobsleigh team
Loosely.
in the 1988 Winter Olympics. Yeah, really great movie. Funny movie.
Yeah, I think this is a
With
Disney
the egg
movie.
is my
Yeah.
Disney movie.
Yeah.
The Disney sports movies.
Disney sports movie. Miracle is a Disney movie.
Glory Road.
Glory Road is a Disney one.
Remember the Titans.
Oh yeah, Remember the Titans is Disney.
John Candy's in it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Cool Runnings.
Disney's killing the sports movies.
All right, I've got Southpaw. Mark's got to watch Sandlot. Ryan's, you got to watch Cool Runnings.
All right.
Wait, you haven't seen it?
Yeah,
Nope.
Ryan's seen Cool Runnings.
Dang.
Man.
You'll laugh. It's funny.
Yeah, it's great. Timeless movie. Great pick. A bobsled movie. I didn't think we were going to get winter sports into here. But there you go. My third pick, or my fourth pick. Oh, boy. I'm going to go... Man, I'm kind of torn between two, but I'm going to go with White Men Can't Jump. Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson. I love that movie. Not kind of your traditional movie. You know, it's about guys playing 2-on-2 in Los Angeles. But I think it's a really cool kind of... I don't know. I love it. I love it. It's just kind of a cool little character story about Woody Harrelson's character. And basically the whole movie is just him wanting to dunk a basketball. That's like basically what the movie comes down to. And yeah, just it's the 90s-ist movie of all time. If you want a little throwback, you know, you got Wesley Snipes in those short shorts with the patterns all over them. Great little 90s throwback. White Men Can't Jump. Have you guys seen it?
No,
I saw it recently.
Nice.
I saw it last year.
Yeah, I think I saw it for the first time 2 years ago, and I love it.
Yeah, it was funny.
Fun fact: Woody Harrelson was in Brampton the other day.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, they're filming Man from Toronto.
Oh, maybe we can get him on the show.
They were
Man from Toronto. What's that about?
Dude, it's with Kevin Hart, Woody Harrelson, and the girl from Big Bang Theory. It's all about a man from Toronto. I don't know.
Is it Toronto Man's?
Man from Toronto, starring Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Shout out Toronto.
Yeah, shout out Toronto. Let's keep it on topic, guys. We're talking about sports movies here, Kevin Hart movies. Good fact, though, Ryan. Maybe we'll go try to track down Woody Harrelson in our next episode. Yeah. All right, we are on to round 5, our final round. Let's get going. Ryan, your final pick.
So I was going to take this in like a comedic way, but I've already picked 4 other true stories, so I don't think I can dip off from that. Mm-hmm. Another good movie that I thought was really good. Soul Surfer. I mentioned it last week.
Bethany
but I thought that was a really good movie.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Nice. I got really invested in this movie just because you want her to succeed so bad, and it's just such a freak accident. So she's champion surfer. One day night surfing, she gets attacked. Gets her left arm bitten off, and perseverance drives her back into the sport, and she's an icon for a lot of people. So
yeah, this is a great movie. It kind of feels like a kiddie movie when you're just kind of looking at it, but it's actually a really good story. Bethany Hamilton is just, there's another movie about her that's more of a documentary. If you're I forget what that one's called, but that one's kind of more of a documentary look if you're looking for this. But this movie, I went on a vacation with one of my friend's families, and he has a little sister, and she refused to watch anything but this movie for the whole weekend.
Oh my
So
God.
I saw it about 5 times in a weekend. It's a great story, nothing against Bethany Hamilton, but I can't stand this freaking movie anymore. But it is a good movie, but I can't stand it. So there you go. Yeah, Soul Surfer, great movie, great story. Mark, your final pick.
Man, I think I'm just gonna go with Creed.
We got
Another
3
boxing
boxing
movie.
movies in.
Yeah.
Wow, there you go.
I love boxing movies. Yeah, again, kind of the same reasons. The boxing was amazing.
Yeah,
the
the
soundtrack got me hyped.
So cool, and like they do the one shot boxing fight at the end, where they're just like, and Michael B. Jordan got knocked out on the set of this movie, I think a couple times because they were going at it. The boxing is legit. Yeah. And
So it's a great movie.
Great movie. Go watch it.
He's a great actor too.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Michael B.
I haven't seen the second one yet, I think.
No, I haven't either. But I heard it was
I don't
pretty
know if
good.
it's good.
Yeah. Ryan Coogler, same guy who directed Black Panther.
Oh wow.
Super team. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler. Super team out there. All right. Great pick.
Last pick.
How do I wrap it up? I just got to give one as a personal recommendation. This one's more of a documentary, but it's one of my favorite movies about sports. Dogtown and Z-Boys is a documentary about the origins of California skateboarding, shot by Stacy Peralta, who was one of the skateboarders from that era, and he was actually there, and he's in a lot of the clips. And it's just a great, cool look about these rebels in Southern California in the 70s. When skateboarding was nothing and nobody gave a crap. So it's a cool kind of origin story. There's another movie called The Lords of Dogtown, which is terrible, starring Heath Ledger, rest in peace. But that's a bad movie. Go watch the documentary Dogtown and Z-Boys. I love it. There you go. That's the end of that. Real quick, did you guys have anything else on your list that you didn't get to? I had a bunch. I had Jerry Maguire. I really wanted to pick but couldn't get to. Dodgeball, Ben Stiller. I wanted to pick that. Happy Gilmore. That's where I thought Ryan was going.
Yeah, I was gonna pick that, but
The Karate Kid is a sports movie, and
Coach Carter.
Coach
I don't
Carter.
think anyone talked about Coach Carter.
Yeah, Mighty Ducks. We kind of mentioned. I, Tonya. I
Whole
had down.
series.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys
I
have
had
anything else?
Field of Dreams.
Yep.
That was a movie where I thought maybe. Yeah, if I build a rink in my backyard, or the Colorado Avalanche going to come, or what? And then $1 Million Arm. That's another true story.
Right.
It's pretty good.
There you go.
So that's what I had.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. That's our draft of the week. It was a long one, but I think well warranted. And we're out of time, so I gotta wrap the show up. That's going to do it for this week. We had a fan favorites, but we're not going to get to it. Maybe we'll put that on our YouTube just for fun. But speaking of that, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/Marauder Morning, or search up Marauder Morning. You can find us on our website, 93 or cfmu.ca. I almost forgot the website. We're on Twitter at 933CFMU. That's correct. And if you got any problems and you're watching us on YouTube, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear back from you guys. No comments yet, so please leave one. But that's our show for the week. Be sure to come back next Monday. Guys, say goodbye to everybody.
See you guys.
Peace.
All right, that'll do it for us, and we'll see you in the next one.